Bonjour mesdames et messieurs and welcome to this complete training on Lightroom 6. So the first video we're going to be doing is you're opening up Lightroom for the first time, and by default you have what they call the default catalog. Now to be able to function with Lightroom you need to have a catalog. A catalog is a place where you're going to reference your photos and do all your retouching and all your books and slideshows and websites and print templates. Everything is going to be from that catalog. It's kind of like, I consider it as like the flagship which I really work with. So the first thing I'm actually going to do on this one is before I start importing data into the catalog, I'm going to create a new catalog. So I'm going to go to Lightroom, File, New Catalog. I'm going to put it on my hard drive. BB3 is my hard drive. This is just where I put my Lightroom catalogs. So I'm going to save as Lightroom 6 training and click create. So it's going to create a catalog. The first thing it says, welcome search, take your Lightroom everywhere. Lightroom can sync collections to the cloud, enabling any on your device. You can choose which collection to sync. So we're going to do that later on. I'm going to turn it off for now. I'm going to continue. I'm not going to go into syncing with Lightroom Mobile. There will be a video just on that. So first off, I just want to teach you how you can get your photos into the catalog. So now I created the catalog and I have an SD card which is on my Mac, and I'm going to go to File, Import Photos and Videos. And here on the left you can see the different sources that we have. I have many external hard drive connected to this computer, but here there's one SD card. It's called an SD card, and there is different raw files there that I'm going to be importing. Okay, so I want to copy them. Now you have two choices, copy as DNG or copy. Basically, DNG means digital negative file. NG is for negative. Basically, it's a raw file format. What a raw file format is it's a file where all the information of the photo is there and has not been retouched. It's raw. It's exactly as the camera saw the data. Now, if I copy as such, I'm going to copy all the files because, for example, it's some Canon. There's some Canon files there, and there is some Sony files. Sony extension, for example, is ARW. So ARW is the raw file format from Sony. If I choose copy, it's not going to touch anything. It's just going to copy as such. If I choose copy as DNG, it's going to transform the file in a DNG. There is two advantages to DNG. One is actually three advantages. Advantage, files are 20% smaller than the regular raw files. So that's kind of nice when you have 100,000 photos. You're talking a lot of hard disk space. And two, it's compatible forever. The idea is that DNG file is going to be like the standard raw file format internationally, and that in 20 years from now you will still be able to open it. That's what Adobe is going for as a company, and Adobe being the leader, I believe they're going to make it. If you use the Sony ARW file, maybe in 20 years you won't be able to open that file anymore. However, DNG you will be. And the third thing is that all the corrections of a DNG files are embedded in that file. I will explain that later, but basically it's all there. It's you don't lose any information. So I advise you to copy as DNG. Okay, so that's the first window. You select from your SD card, you decide whether you copy or you copy as DNG, and you can also move the files from the SD card to where you're going to copy in, or you can add. If I choose the function add, what's going to happen is that the files are not going to be moved anywhere. They're still going to be on the SD card, but they will be referenced in my Lightroom catalog. I don't want that. I want to copy them on a different external hard drive. So I'm going to, here I have all my hard drive, and I'm going to go into BB3, English training, and I want to create a folder for this photo. So I'm going to right click here. I'm going to click on create a new folder, and I'm going to call this one Lightroom 6 Complete Training. That's my first folder, and the second folder I'm going to create is going to be photos. Okay, so here on the right is where you choose your destination. As you can see here, destination. Okay, now you can do develop settings as you import. We'll go that into later. For now, you can rename file as you go. So I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to rename the files. We'll go into that notion a bit later. And the only thing that's really important is build smart previews or not. Now, smart previews is something new that came out with Lightroom 5. When you import the file, it creates, I would say, a little preview file that's about 2 megs of size, and it gives you the possibility of retouching your photos within Lightroom. Even so, that hard drive where your files are is not connected to your computer. So I'm going to turn that on. That's cool. Don't import suspected duplicates. Yes. So every photo is there. And you can see here you have the option of copying all photos or just new photos. In this case, because it's an empty catalog, it doesn't matter. New photos and old photos is going to be the same. If I had previously imported some of them, and they would be already in a catalog, if I would choose new photo, I would only get these ones. But anyways, so to recap, there is 3 main points. Left is where does the photo comes from. Here it's the SD card. Here is the photo. Copy as DNG, and then on the right is the destination where the photos are going to be, and you can rename them as you go. Well, actually, let's rename them. Let's rename them. You have different options. I like to use custom name and sequence. I'm going to call them, for example, Lightroom 6 Training. So then every photo is going to be called Lightroom 6 Training, and then start number 1. So it's going to be Lightroom 6 Training number 1, 2, 3, and 4. I can put some keywords too. Let's put Lightroom 6 Training as a keyword. But I will go deeper into keywords later on. But you get the idea. I just want to make this a very simple video. Here you have the possibility of having a grid view or a view where you can see every photo here. And you can move on this view from one photo to the other with the arrow key, which I don't find is very nice. So I like to use the grid view. Okay, so you can really see all the photos you're importing. You can change the size of the preview here, and voila. Basically, that's it. So now I'm just going to click on import, and it's going to move the files from my SD card to my external hard drive. It's going to convert them as DNG while I'm doing this, and it's going to put it in my Lightroom catalog in the same manner. It's going to rename them, and it's going to put the keywords. So I don't do anything in the world before I empty out my SD cards with putting keywords and give them a rename the files and putting them into my hard drive through Lightroom. That's like my stable data every time I come from a shoot. I do this action that I'm just showing you now. So voila, this is how you import photos with your SD card.